Okay, figured it out. Live on YouTube as well as TikTok. And today we're going to talk a little bit about the 7 secrets of daily happiness. 7 secrets of daily happiness. And it is my workbook that I put together and I put this together not too long ago, and it is basically based on some of the things that I do each and every day to make sure that I maintain my happiness, right? You know, a lot of people these days, they're not happy, right? They talk about being happy, but they're not happy. They're not happy. And and the reason why they're not happy is just because um, they're worrying about all the stuff that they don't have, you know. And when you're worrying about all of the stuff that you don't have when it comes to being happy, um, you tend to start to lack gratitude. That's what it is. You tend to lack gratitude. That is probably one of the biggest problems with most people who aren't happy every day, right? If you're not happy every day, you are not waking up with gratitude. You're not waking up with happiness. You're not waking up uh, with the joy that you should be waking up to. And the reason why is because every day, number one, let's talk about this. Number one, a lot of people, when they go to bed, they go to bed in scarcity, right? And when you go to bed in scarcity, what happens is you usually go to bed, you're on your phone, you're scrolling, you're seeing a bunch of things that people have that you don't have. You see a bunch of people living a life through a chat, through a snapshot, through a snapshot that you don't have. And when people start showing you their life through pictures, and you are trying to relate it to your life because maybe you didn't take those pictures of those moments, then you start to have a tendency of thinking that you have less than other people. And I'm here to tell you that you don't. You don't. You cannot judge someone else's life through a snapshot, through a picture. You just can't do it. You can't judge somebody else's life through a picture. You'll never ever get the full picture of somebody's life, right? Um, Even if they're your friend, even if you guys work together, even if you guys live in close proximity to each other, neighbors, you know, I said shit. Sometimes you barely get the full snapshot of a picture of people who you are living with. You know, maybe your siblings, maybe your spouse, maybe relative live with you, and you're not getting the full snapshot of their life because guess what? We don't spend 24 hours, 7 days a week with people. So if you don't spend 24 hours, 7 days a week with people, you kind of don't know 100% what's going on in their life. You know, I mean, if somebody's doing bad, you know they're doing bad, right? It's kind of a lot of the signs show up along the way to show people who are doing bad, right? And when somebody's doing good, I mean, really, really good, a lot of the signs show up along the way to show those people and how they're doing good. But the problem with that is there's a lot of in between, right? There's a lot of in between, guys, right? And most people are not at the bottom level or at the top level, right? Most of us are in that big, fat in between gap. And because we're in that in between gap, okay, we have a tendency to judge one another based on the one or two things that one person shows us that makes it seem like they're doing well. See, most people aren't doing as well as they show you, right? Because a lot of people out there, they're just trying to impress. And some people are just better at it than others. Some people are really good at impressing people. Some people are really good at as what we would call back in the day fronting. A lot of people are just good at fronting and not truly being their genuine self, right? And I get it. You know, nobody wants other people to see them doing bad, and nobody wants other people to think they're doing bad, right? You want your friends to think you're doing good, right? You know, you want people to see you on social media to think you're doing good. And the fact of the matter is, most of us are struggling every single day. We're struggling every single day because we're judging each other based on Ron. Hey, what's going on? We're judging each other based on opinions, based on opinions and pictures and stuff like that. So when you start judging people based on the pictures that you've seen on social media, if you start judging people based on a couple of things that they show you what they're talking about, then hey, yeah, you'll probably end up being miserable, right? You'll probably end up saying, man, they got so much going on. They're doing so well, and they got so many things moving in their favor. They must be blessed. They must be lucky. They must be this and that and the other thing. But a lot of us, we do not. We do not have a full snapshot of that person's life. And when you don't have a full snapshot of a person's life and you try to base your life and how good your life is compared to their life, you'll never get the full picture. You'll always feel like you're losing. You know, um, my wife says something many years ago. She used to always say it, and she would say it in Spanish, but she would say, nobody knows what's in the pot except the person that's stirring it, right? Except the chef, right? Nobody knows what's in the pot except the chef, right? So you don't know what is going on in somebody's head. You don't know what's going on in somebody's life, okay? Um, because you're not them, right? And so when you're not somebody else, that's the deal. You cannot base your life on somebody else. You have to base your life based on you. What have you done? What did you do today? What did you do yesterday? What did you do the day before? You know? And that is the only person that you should be chasing. The only person that you should be chasing is the person that you were yesterday. And if you don't begin to chase the person that you were yesterday, then you will be chasing a ghost. You will be chasing a ghost. Chasing people's pictures is chasing ghosts. Chasing people's profiles on social media is chasing a ghost, right? You're not chasing real people. So there's nothing you can ever match up against. There's nothing you can ever have that they had that will bring happiness to you, okay? Um, because if a person drives a new car, yeah, great, they got a new car. But guess what they also have? They also have a car payment. They also have increased insurance, right? Somebody has a nice big house. Guess what? They probably also have a nice big mortgage. You know what I mean? So somebody goes on a nice vacation. Hey, guess what? They probably took out a pension loan to go on that vacation. All right. So you got to start to think in terms of being grateful for what you have, because once you're grateful for what you have, you will then begin to receive more, because that's just how the universe works. And the second thing is you got to stop comparing yourself to other people, right? Other people will never, ever, ever give you a true satisfaction when it comes to you trying to do better in your life. You're just not going to do better comparing. It's very difficult, you know. And I say all that to talk about my book, my workbook, that is Seven Secrets to Daily Happiness, right? I'm talking about my book, Seven, and that's over there at Blue Publishing. If you guys are checking me out here on TikTok or YouTube, and when you happen to go over there, you'll see I have several books over there right now. I have my OG book, which is Top 25 Mistakes En Route to the Good Life, right? And I started with my murder mystery books. So the first one is The Confessional Killer, right? You guys get to check that out, The Confessional Killer. And then after that, I came along with Echoes in the Confession. So right now, I'm actually uh, working on my publisher and how they printed out the books, right? So some pages are printed well and other pages aren't printed well. So full transparency on the book. The story is great, but just some of the pages and some of the pictures, right? They aren't. They don't meet my standards, right? They don't meet my standards, and I guess that's what it is with me, right? If you guys didn't know, this is me. I'm Sal Blue. That's me. I wrote these books here, and these books have been in the making for a while for me. So I'm trying to get better and better and better at all of the logistics of being an author and all the logistics of having your own publishing house and who goes over your products when it comes to how you think they should look on paper, right? Because I'll tell you what, how they looked online, right? And by the way, my publishing house is Australia, so the time difference is ridiculous. They want me to be on the phone at 2 a.m. in the morning. But how they look online and when they show you your product and this is your product and the sales team and things like this is going to be fantastic. Check it out. This is the font we're using and this is and then it comes out and you see other books and you don't like the finished product. Now, I'll tell you guys this. I'm only competing against myself, right? Even though I know what I like, and I know what I like, and I know how I would like my books to look for my readers. So when I see the book, and I make sure that I purchase several of them firsthand, I'll just give those out as author copies, and send some autographed copies out to some of my friends and family, and especially the ones that don't buy nothing, right? I send it out to them all the time. That was my Gimel. Sorry about that, guys. But anyway, yes. So when it comes to quality and products, you always want to have the best quality and product. You always want your product to look really good. And so for me, I got these first two books out and in print. I'm actually working on my third book. So for me, this is good. This is good because I just learned something with my publishing company and with my printing company that I didn't like. And so for book number 3, I can make the correction. And I can also go back to the drawing board on books 1 and 2 and correct the look so that the next batch of 100 books comes out a whole lot better. So, always be working on improving yourself and always be working on doing tomorrow better than you have today. Now, I'll tell you guys this. I did a video earlier today. My goal today was to do 25 posts. So it is about almost 10 o'clock. It's almost 10 o'clock, and I am literally 12 posts short. 12 posts short. So, um, no, 13 posts short. So, um, I am going to do 5 more book posts on TikTok to talk about my books. I'm also streaming right now on YouTube, and obviously I'm live once again on TikTok, which actually is so much easier than YouTube, which is crazy because my biggest following is on YouTube. Right on YouTube, I have like 10,000 followers on YouTube. I'm gonna have more than that, but when I started dedicating a lot of time to TikTok, I my followers on YouTube started realizing that I wasn't posting as much, and I don't know, maybe people just fell off or whatever. But um, my goal on YouTube is to start doing shorts, like how I do my short videos on TikTok that are a little bit over 60 seconds. I want to start doing the same thing on YouTube, and my goal on YouTube is with my 10,000 followers, my goal is 10 million views. So for my YouTube shorts, not even my long instructional videos where I talk about um, having a better life, or what I'm talking about health and fitness, or I'm talking about mistakes that I've made. Um, I'm talking about just short videos, just short, quick advice videos, short, quick, check this out videos, short, quick. These are the things that I have learned. Um, quick type videos. So that is what I'm going. That's my goal on YouTube. 10 million. All right. And some people may say that it seems like a lofty goal. BJ, what's going on, BJ? Some people may think that that's a lofty goal to have 10 million views, but for me, uh, the idea of goals is if they don't push you, then why do you have them? If they don't change you along the way, then why do you make them? You know, uh, don't sit there and make goals that you know you're going to achieve. That's wow, that shouldn't even be a goal. You know, if you're sitting there making goals that you know you're going to achieve, that makes absolutely no sense. So it is about growth. It is about growth. Goals are here to make you grow, right? You grow through your goals. You become more than what you currently are. All right. But one of the things that I really, really wanted to get into today, thank you guys. Thank you, Ronnie, for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. One of the things that I really wanted to get into today was 7 things that I do to make sure that every single day, okay, I come away with some joy. I come away with some happiness, right? And so I call it my 7 secrets of daily happiness, right? And it's so funny, right? As I pop this up here on TikTok, right, and then I pop it up here on YouTube. Uh, Actually, when I look at the screen on YouTube, it is reversed. When I look at it here on TikTok, it is backwards. So I have to figure that out. I'm definitely going to have to figure that out. My show and tell is not working on TikTok. It is definitely working on YouTube. But my workbook, 7 Secrets to Daily Happiness, it's just a guided workbook so you can work your way through it, fill it out. And so it's a guided workbook to reclaim your joy, your focus, and your purpose. And I think you need all of those things when it comes to having a good life. You know, uh, if you are going to be joyful every day, if you're going to wake up every day and with a smile on your face, when either the alarm goes off or the sun peeks through the window and says hello, you have to be ready, okay, to take on whatever challenges life brings and not allow those challenges, okay, to change you when it comes to your joy and your happiness, right? Challenges come no matter what, right? And it's so funny that some challenges that catch you off guard that you're not used to, that you don't prepare for, they have a tendency to change your mood, to change your feelings. And so what I started doing myself is I started logging little grammar school book. I started logging how certain things made me feel, right? And then I started evaluating, okay, why do they make me feel that way? See, it's so funny how we just allow our mind to rule us, our emotions to rule us, when the fact of the matter is, if it's not something you want, delete it. If it's not something you want, be the master of your mind and your emotions. Don't be the slave of your mind and your emotions. Your mind is a powerful tool, but your mind is also lazy. It's extremely lazy, your mind. Your mind wants to do the least amount of work possible, which means, guess what? If your mind wants to do the least amount of work possible, then you have a goal. The first thing your mind's going to tell you to do is, nah, you don't need to do that. Sleep in. Your mind will keep kicking the can down the block, kicking the can, okay, until you get to the point in your life where your mind tells you it's too late to even try. Why bother? You should have done that years ago, right? And it's so funny because you'll sit there and you'll argue back and forth with your mind, and you'll tell your mind, well, you told me that I shouldn't do that. You told me that that was too hard. You told me that nobody's going to read my books. Nobody's going to watch my podcast. Nobody's going to, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever you want to do, you add it. Trust me, your mind has a way of talking you out of it. It's just what it is. It's just life, right? Your mind tries to talk you out of so much because it does not want to put in the work. And trust me, if you are trying to do any type of goal that makes you feel uncomfortable, your mind is going to step in and have something to say about it. And your mind will team up, right? Your mind will team up with your emotions. And when your mind teams up with your emotions, it will try to stop you from creating the life that you want, because creating the life that you want is going to mean that you're going to have to change who you are, right? And who does that? Who wants to change who they are? Because in order to change who you are, it is literally a funeral for who you are right now. Yes, I know it's scary. It's a funeral for who you are right now. And who you are right now is not good enough. Who you are right now is not going to have the life that that person in the future is going to enjoy. Now, how about that? Okay. Now, you may be able to take that message in certain aspects. Say, if you're overweight, you already know that the fat version of you, okay, cannot sit there and do all the things that the in shape version of you is going to be doing in the future. And so you know that that fat version of you has to go, right? You have to kill off that fat version of yourself. Now, when you think about this, the same thing goes with every single version of your life that you do not like. If you have versions of your life that you don't like, you're going to have a funeral for each and every one of them. They have to go. Man, just think about it, right? If you don't have the money that you want, then that broke ass version of yourself gotta go. That person has to go. Got my little one of these versions. All right. Anyway, um, that's me. I don't have any copyrights to this music. This is just some little background chill out jazz music or whatever. Sunset chill lounge stuff. I like this one right here too. Little jazz cafe lounge. But but anyway, um, that version of you has to go. You have to kill off that version of you who likes to sleep in late, who likes to put things off, right? Who likes to um, say to himself, "Oh, not today. I do it another day." You know, um, you got to learn how to go to war, literally go to war against who you are right now. And that is so difficult for a lot of people. You know, some people have a very, very bad life right now, a very bad life right now. But they also love the person who they are right now. So explain that to me. Explain that to me how somebody can have a horrible life, you know, um, broke, okay, poor health, out of shape, horrible relationship, living in a horrible area, okay, but at the same time, okay, um, they're afraid to change, to become more, to be more, to give more value. Okay, a lot of people are afraid to give more value, and it's because they're afraid to give more value, they are willing to lie to themselves and tell themselves that they're happy just the way they are. You know, one of the things that used to kill me all the time and would totally upset me is, and it's nothing against living in the hood. I lived in the hood. I lived in the hood. I lived in the ghetto. I lived in public housing. Um, when I was on my own, that shit ended. You know, I wasn't going to do that. First chance I got, I came up out of that and brought myself a house. And it was modest, but I still brought a house, right? Um, and one of the things that would kill me about people who I lived around or people that were older than me is they would always say, "Oh, I'm blessed, I'm blessed, I'm blessed and highly favored." And I get it. I get it. We're all blessed. But the problem is this: what are you doing with it? Right? So don't sit there. That's the part that used to get me. People would ask me, why do I get so upset when other people tell me that they're blessed, right? Or how blessed they are. Why do I get upset? Because the part that upset me is every day you wake up, you're handed a gift, right? A gift, right? And that gift is 24 hours. Okay. Some people don't make it through the day, but that gift is 24 hours. That's your blessing. Yeah, of course, you're blessed because you have the ability to say that you are blessed. So having the strength and the energy and ability one more day to say that you're blessed, then yes, you're blessed. But what are you doing with your blessings? Because if you are not doing anything with it, if you are not, number one, trying to become a better version of yourself, okay? Number two, showing gratitude through action, all right? And number three, okay, making sure that because you're blessed, okay, your tomorrow is better than today, right? And it don't have to be in leaps and bounds. It could be in micro doses, cosms, or whatever you want to call them, right? But it's you making an effort, okay, to show gratitude and appreciation for your blessing to have a better day, to do more, to be more, to become more, to give more, right? So don't tell me you're blessed in one sentence and in the next sentence not be willing to make any changes to make your life or anybody else's life around you better. That is my moment on the pulpit right now. Okay. That is me telling you, okay, that that used to burn my ass. That's it, you know. And now that I'm an adult, I'm a little better at hearing people say it, and I kind of learn how to keep my mouth shut and say, okay, I get it. You're blessed. In my head, in the back of my head, I'm still saying, and what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with your blessing? Right? That's like you handing somebody $1 million. You hand somebody $1 million and they turn around and they still want to live on the street begging for pennies, right? That's 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 hey Bree, how you doing? That is the equivalent of you telling me that you're blessed and you're not doing nothing with it. I just handed you a bag of money, but you want to sit in this same spot and be who you were yesterday and the day before that and the day before that and continue to beg for money, right? So I don't know if that was a great analogy or not, but you guys get where I'm talking about. You get the point that I'm talking about. Okay. Don't tell me you're blessed and not do anything about it. And that is probably one of the biggest problems when it comes to people being happy. Being happy, right? Being happy is very, very difficult if you live your life in comparison to everybody else. If you live your life based on what somebody else did yesterday, right? If you are looking outside of yourself, then it's probably very difficult for you to find happiness because then, okay, you're not even recognizing how far you've come, number one, and number two, showing gratitude for what you have now. Because for everything that you want in the future, there is a person right now who wants everything that you have at this moment. You see, I know that, right? Because I was that person. I was that person. I was that person with a dream board and had all of these things of the house and the cars and the family and the health and 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 the business and I wanted all of those things. Okay. And then I got all of those things. Okay. And I realized that all of those things don't make you happy unless you appreciate every single thing that you have along the way and all the struggles that it took for you to get to this point. Okay. So now I don't mess around anymore. Now I take notes. I take notes and I write down what I'm grateful for. I write down what I'm appreciative about. And I also write down what I want. Okay. I write down the progress that I'm making toward what I want. So if I tell you that I'm blessed, I'll tell you what I'm doing because I'm blessed. But I probably won't tell you I'm blessed. This is not terminology that I use, but you get my point. Okay. But let's get back to seven secrets of daily happiness, right? Before I walk around with the plate. walk around with the plate after giving that damn sermon. Yeah. So when it comes to 7 secrets of daily happiness, one of the first secrets that I love to talk about is being intentional with your morning routine. You have to have an intentional morning routine every single day. Now, for me, I know exactly what my morning routine was, but before I knew what my morning routine was, I would make sure that I did not go to sleep not one night without writing here what I was going to do in the morning. I made sure that I wrote down three things that if I did them tomorrow, they will move me closer to my definite chief aim, right? And so I have a chief aim. I have something that if I do nothing else and I do that in my life, I'm happy. I've accomplished what I needed to accomplish in my life. So until I reach that chief aim, then I'm doing everything that I need to do every day to reach my definite chief aim. So that's important, guys, right? Having something that you're shooting for and making sure that you wake up and that is the first thing that is on your agenda, right? No phone, no scrolling, no nothing. Just build your intentional morning routine. So, like I said, in my workbook, I talk about why it matters. And the reason why it matters is most people wake up reacting to life, and this is true, right? They hit the snooze button, they scroll social media, and they start their day in stress or autopilot, right? But the people, right, who choose how to start each day by building momentum and confidence, the joy of living purposefully, because when you live purposefully, you have a joy, right? Because you're on a mission and you're doing something. And that will bring you through the tough times. Everybody has tough times. Everybody. Okay. Some people, right? They ride the momentum of having a purpose to get through their tough time. So even though the times are tough, they're working hard to have a better life. And because they're working hard to have a better life, they push their way through it. Okay. Um, Listen, I learned this firsthand after 20 years of law enforcement. I learned this firsthand. Okay. That when I didn't have structure, I fell into a personal crisis, right? Because in that field, right, military, law enforcement, all those fields, um, you are always fighting battles, and then eventually you get good at fighting battles, and when you get good at fighting battles, guess what? Other battles come your way on a personal level, or on a health level, or on a relationship level, or on a family level. Okay. So while you're out there trying to protect the world, your personal life is crumbling. Okay. And so if you don't have structure each and every day in your life, okay, you won't be able to fight your way through, okay, to have a joyful day. So I rebuilt my morning routine. Okay. And it was one of the first building blocks to rebuilding my life, literally, my morning routine. And so, one of the things that I know for sure in my life is because I have a morning routine, even though it doesn't matter, because I've had everything from uh, personal injuries, major injuries to my physical body, to deaths in my family, my parents, et cetera, friends, tragedies. that because I have a morning routine, I have a structure in my life. So I'm not just drifting uh, in my emotions and my pain, right? And I feel emotions and pain and I go through it. But because I have a morning routine and a structure, um, it pulls me out of where I'm at, you know, because my body automatically wants to get back to status quo. It automatically wants to get back to the life that have been living up until this point with that structure. Your body loves structure. So because your body loves structure, your body's going to continually, okay, try to get you to move back to um, a version of yourself where uh, commercial get back to the version of yourself that it is used to. So just remember that your mornings are your foundation. Remember, if you win the morning, right, you set yourself up to win the day. If you just drift through the morning, you are probably not going to uh, be able to handle obstacles as they come your way. So just keep that in mind when it comes to your morning routine. All right. Um, about 8 seconds. One of the questions that I have for you guys when it comes to morning routine. There we go. One of the questions I have for you guys when it comes to morning routine, right? And it's called self-reflection. So get yourself a notepad, leave it next to the bed, and write these things down, right? Get yourself a notepad and put it next to the bed and write down where are you now? Yep, 4 words. Where are you now? Because if you do not know where you're at, then it's going to be very, very difficult to chart a path having the future that you want. So, my first question and where you are now is how do you currently start your mornings? What do you do to start your mornings, right? How do your mornings start off? Do you wake up and start scrolling, right? Do you wake up and the first thing you do is look at your phone, right? If that is the case, then that is probably a big problem, okay, with you finding joy and happiness. I've noticed that a lot of people who spend a lot of time on social media have a very, very difficult time finding joy, right? They have a very difficult time finding joy. And of course, they have a time finding joy because they're stuck in a life of comparison, right? So I want you to take inventory of where you are now and write down what is your morning routine, right? What is your morning routine? Um, the second question that I need you to ask yourself, okay, is what are the first 3 things you typically do after waking up? Just to help us narrow down, okay, and diagnose what is going on. What are the first 3 things you typically do after waking up? I think that is important, right? Um, me, the first thing I do upon opening my eyes, right? Oh, excuse me. The first thing I do upon opening my eyes is I start speaking my definite chief aim. My definite chief aim in life, uh, which is the one thing that if I achieved that, I would have a happy life. And so I speak that every morning, right? I speak it every morning. I talk about it. I talk about its deadline, and I talk about what I'm willing to give in return for that definite chief aim. So that's important. That's important. That's the first thing I do, right? I do that as soon as I open my eyes, before I get out of bed, before I do anything. The next thing that I do The next thing I do, literally, after I finish that, is I roll out the bed and I have a mat, a yoga mat, right next to my bed. So I roll out the bed onto the floor and I do 100 push-ups. I do 100 push-ups, and straight from 100 push-ups, I do 50 to 100 ab rolls. Right? So I do 100 push-ups, 50 to 100 ab rolls, and then I do my yoga stretches, my downward dogs, my child pose, etc., loosen up. Then I go brush my teeth. Yeah, that's why I roll to the other side of the bed. Yeah. So then I do that, and once I do that, brush my teeth and get ready, I go downstairs. I put on a pot of coffee. I throw my eggs in a pot, and I go into the garage, and I do 50 pull-ups. Right? So that is the first two things that I do in the morning. That's the first two things I do in the morning. And the third thing that I do in the morning is I open up my journal and I write my gratitude. All right. And I do that while everybody's asleep and the house is quiet. The dogs don't even get up yet. Right. And I'm down there and I'm just writing what I'm grateful for. I'm writing um, my wins and my losses. I write them all down. And then I start my day. Right. During the week, I have a 9 to 5. So I do all of that before my 9 to 5, before 7 a.m. So that is my morning routine. And as I try to become more and be more, I'll need to improve on my morning routine. But as in right now, that is my morning routine. So, what are the three things that you do to start off your morning? What are your three things that you do for a morning routine, typically? And be honest. If this is not for me, this is for you, writing it down for yourself. I don't need you to tell me in the chat. I don't need you to give me an idea of what you do. I just need you to write it down for yourself and figure out what you do to get your morning going. All right. The next question that I have you is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how energized and focused do you feel by 9 a.m.? Now, your time schedule can be different than mine, but I get up in the morning, and by 9 a.m. I'm at my 9 to 5, and by 9 a.m. I'm actually literally going for a 30-minute walk. You know, just around my little work area, around the building, several laps around the building. Um, I I justify it by saying I'm doing a security check, But either way, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm doing by 9 o'clock. How energized and focused do you feel by 9 o'clock? Because after that walk, after that half an hour walk, I am physically and mentally very stimulated. And I usually sit at my desk, I pop open my laptop, and I write while I work. And that helps me um, tremendously. Helps me tremendously. So you got to figure out your morning routine and figure out what's your energy levels by that hour, by 9 o'clock. All right. If you are feeling drained or exhausted by 9 o'clock, it's probably because of social media, right? How you doing, Mama Dragon? You've probably been doing too much scrolling, too much comparing. And when you do that, it has a tendency to drain you. It has a tendency to pull energy out of you. Listen, your brain works harder than any other muscle in your body. Trust me. Your brain works harder than any other muscle in your body. Unfortunately, most of the time, your brain is trying not to work as hard. So that's what it is. So, three morning power principles that I want to give you. Three morning power principles that I want to give you to get you started. The first one is intentional intentions uh, beats automatic, right? So being intentional about what you're doing, it beats automatic. And when I say automatic, I mean whatever comes to you. Not having your morning routine set up and going strictly by your morning routine. That's called being intentional. Waking up and looking at your phone and then answering a text message or then looking at an email or then looking at a funny meme or joke and then scrolling and losing the next hour until you had to jump out of bed because you're running late for work, that's automatic. Okay, so think about that. Don't let your phone or your email, your inbox, or social media or whatever dictate your energy for the day, right? Because I've watched many times uh, people wake up and they say they're going to have a fantastic day, and then they look at a email from their job and it upsets them, or they look at a text message from uh, a friend or somebody passed away or whatever, and the next thing you know, the whole day is ruined, right? Based on that thing at 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning, and now they lost the whole day. So, um, I second thing that I think is very important is I think that you should start with something for you and only you, right? For me, um, talking about my definite chief aim, and my morning workout routine, and my coffee, and my 9:30 walk. Those things are for me, right? And I tell you, start your day off with things for you. Don't start your day off with things for the world, right? You have to win the battle internally, right? In here before responding externally. So you have to win the battle in your mind before you present the person who you are to the world. So understand that. I think that's important. Third thing is repetition build results. So that's self-explanatory. Do it every single day. Have a great morning habit, and make sure that it's not a one-time trick, right? Do it every single day. You do it every single day, it will build to help you to have a great life. So I think that those three morning power principles should really, really get you going. Now, in my workbook, Seven Secrets to Daily Happiness, I show you guys what my morning routine would look like typically. Now, yours could be whatever you want, but this is how mine looks. Waking up at 5:30 a.m. and and I journal 3 pages. My 20 minutes of physical activity. Uh, I'm always reading pages of uplifting material. Cold shower, get dressed, head my ass out to work, and I review my goals and my missions. So that's just how I wrote it out for you guys to see. Um, every morning doesn't 100% start like that, but and in my workbook, I have a page, activity page, where you can just write it in and fill out your own version of what you can do and how you do it. So I think that's important. All right. So anyway, next most important thing, guys, is a couple of action steps that you need to take. Um, For the next 3 days, this is what I need you guys to do. I need you guys to commit to a simple morning routine. Can you do that? A simple morning routine. And don't make it difficult. Don't make the morning routine difficult, guys. Simple, and it'll get you there. All right. But it has to be something for you, about you, not for the world. All right. You can follow my morning routine for the first day, and just adjust it as you go along, and let me know. Reflect after the third day. Reflect and let me know how having a routine every single day made you feel, and just be honest with yourself. Right? Was it too much? Did you not like getting up? Whatever it is, let me know. Put it in the comments if you want on TikTok, or you could shoot me a DM on YouTube. Right? You want to write what you noticed about having a morning routine for 3 days, and I want you to repeat this every single day. As a matter of fact, when I'm done with here, I'll make sure that I put it as one of my text posts on TikTok for number 14 for my daily post for the day. And this is this: the way I start my day is the way I shape my life. So remember that, okay? Remember that as I post it later on TikTok, I want you guys to remember that and take these steps to create the best life for yourself possible. All right? And in my workbook, I got the 3 action steps that you guys can take. So um, that is it. Where we're at tonight. That's all we're going to talk about tonight. Um, Tomorrow night, it depends on what time I'm done with my med run. But we will get into chapter 2. And chapter 2 is journal daily to clear your mind and focus your life. And I think that is key. That is important. That chapter 2. We will definitely earmark this page and the book, and we're going to get back to this. All right. So that's the 7 secrets of daily happiness. So, what do you guys think? I do have to spend some serious time tomorrow restructuring my printed products from my publishing company. Maybe I'll have to reduce the font, or have it printed up and done in a different format. I think I've figured it out with a different format, a different. I was using Microsoft Word version, and now I'm using a more advanced version. I just got to figure out how to work that advanced version, and so I figured it out by mistake. And because I figured it out by mistake, it just seemed to work out well. And so now I would like to do it permanently, have it where I know exactly what I'm doing. So trial and error, figure it out, do trial and error. I love the fact that I do have some people that support me no matter what, right? Support me no matter what. So I do appreciate those people. And so that is how that goes. Anyway, we're going to wrap it up for today. It's about 10:30. I thank you guys for coming out, checking me out on YouTube and TikTok. And You guys have a fantastic evening. This is Sal Blue signing off for the night. You guys have a great night. All right. Talk to you later, Ronnie. Bye bye.